Yo, 2014 CRV. Obvious intermittent clicky no start. Of course, I'm going to blame the starter. First thing I'm going to do is take the key out of the ignition, leave the alarm off, driver's window down, and make sure everything falls asleep. So I just leave it sit for about 5 minutes. I'm going to take this negative terminal off. Flop that out of the way. 10 millimeter, by the way. I have a couple of 5.5 millimeter hose clamps on this air horn I'm going to take off. Just loosen those up a little bit so I can disconnect this horn. I have a breather hose here that's got a little clamp on it. Try not to crack these bellows either. When they get old, they want to break pretty easy. I have a vacuum line here I want to take off. The vacuum line here. There's a wire loom with 3 connectors on it that I have to disconnect. There's a little tab here I can pull back, pull up on that. I'm going to push in on this a little bit, this connector, and that'll unlock it. And then I can pull it back, take it off. There's little pinchy things on the back side of these connectors. Most people just break these off. I'm going to try to save them. I got one. Same with this connector. You push in on it, push on this tab and pop it off. 10 millimeter on this bracket. There's a brown connector here. I can get under this thing now though and pinch these little things in here. Pinch those in and pop it out. That's no longer on the intake. Now I can get this wire loom out of the way. I'm going to unbolt this throttle body. I got 4 12 millimeter bolts for this. There's an amazing bracket under here. Don't lose that. Now I can just kind of flop this throttle body out of the way a little bit. I guess I'll use a bungee cord for that. There's another amazing bracket on this side too. We'll get that out. Now if I look down in here, way down in there, there's 3 bolts in a metal bracket. And I'm going to want to take that bottom 12 millimeter bolt out. I should be able to sneak a 12 millimeter down here on a swivel ratchet. I got it loose. I should be able to get it out by hand now. And I got that little bugger out. Then I have what looks to be 5 12 millimeter bolts for this intake manifold. A couple of them are nuts. Looks like there's a 6th one hiding right under the throttle body. So yeah, there's 6 of them. Looks like I got one more vacuum hose to deal with. For whatever reason, the hose clamp is facing downward, so I got a hook tool to turn it around. There. Now it comes out. It's a PCV hose. It's completely collapsed, so it's not even working. I'm going to have to get one of those. I'm going to stuff these intake runners with rags because I don't want anything falling in these. I got a solenoid wire here. Push that tab in, pop that out. I got a positive terminal back in here. Flip this boot upside down. That's a 12 millimeter. With any luck, I can get that off with a regular wrench. This wire here, that's why you disconnect the negative terminal. You touch that on the ground, it'll make a lot of good sparks. I can get in here with a ratchet and a 14 millimeter. There is a long bolt right there. I have a connector here. I can pinch these things in, pop them out of the way. There's a tab right here I can push down on, and I can pull this out of the way too. I have one more bolt right here. It's a 17 millimeter. And the starter comes out. A lot of times these plenum gaskets can get reused. These don't look very happy though, so I'm going to replace them. There's the part number I got. I found a hose too. That's the part number I got. Looks like it should sort of fit. This throttle body gasket still looks nice and happy, so I'm going to reuse that. I got a remanufactured Remy starter for this thing. They're guaranteed for life, and they're pretty good starters. I don't trust the Chinese ones very much you get from regular parts stores. I think Napa sells Remy's if you really want to get one. I got this from a warehouse, a local warehouse. I highly doubt you'll be able to get a torque wrench in on this one, but if you do, this one goes to 33 foot-pounds. This one goes to 48. I can actually get a torque wrench on this one, so I'm going to use it. I can put my terminal end on here. They give me a really shallow nut and a lock washer that goes with the starter. They gave me a 13 millimeter to deal with on this. This one don't need to be that tight either. Probably about 8 foot-pounds. So don't go reefing on it or anything. Give it a little wiggle, make sure it's nice and solid on there. Put this boot on. Plug in the solenoid. Snap this wiring back on. That's all good. Pull my rags out. Just going to hit this with a razor blade real quick. Just kind of leave it flat and pull back on it like this, like so. Try not to get anything to fall down in the intake. First thing I'm going to do is plug in this new hose. Now all them intake bolts are still loose. Before I torque them down, I'm going to put this bolt in for this bracket. I'm going to tighten it down all the way. All these 12 millimeter bolts get tightened to 16 foot-pounds. I won't be able to get a torque wrench on this one, so I'm going to have to guess on that too. For these manifold bolts, the first thing I'm going to do is just snug them down to get the gasket to squish. And just start in the center and work my way out. Then I can final torque them to 16 foot-pounds. I make sure I got a nice clean surface here on this throttle body. Make sure nothing fell in the hole. Put my fancy brackets back on. You got to kind of hold on to them fancy brackets, make sure they're nice and square so these bolts can start. Snug these down. I like to go in a circular pattern on these. You may wonder why. Because I'm old school carburetor guy, and that's how you do it. 16 foot-pounds on these too. I can bolt this amazing bracket back on. 8 foot-pounds on this if you care about such a thing. Put my wire loom back. That looks absolutely normal. Hoser here and a hoser there. You don't want to try to start it without this air horn either. It won't run right because this mass airflow sensor has to work. The little notches that you got to line the hose up with to make sure you got them on right. Don't need to get these too tight at all. Hook up my negative terminal. Only need to do about 8 foot-pounds on this too. Basically, I just tighten it down a little and just make sure that this terminal's nice and tight. That should be it. Tried it 3 times. 3's a charm. That's a job. Okay, bye.